Hello and welcome to GamesRadar's F1 2013 Hot Lap around Jerez. Now this is the classic mode time attack which sees you driving Nigel Mansell's 1988 Williams around this Spanish track at ridiculous speeds. I said in the review, I think this is the finest sensation of driving available on current gen. This car is fast, it's exciting, it's also extremely controllable. Now talking of control, we're going to be using a standard PlayStation 3 controller for this video. Normally I would use a racing wheel, so the steering might not be quite as smooth as it would be with that, but we're also going to be using manual gears. There's one other thing though, I have got the traction control switched on. That may sound like cheating, but in all honesty in this car, if you floor the throttle out of a corner, even the traction control isn't going to stop the wheels from spinning, so there's still a lot of driving to be done here. Now we're going to be trying to beat the Gold Ghost car with a time of 1:19.204. As you can see, the previous lap I was very close, but this time we're going to smash it. Alright, so let's start this lap. Here we go, into the final corner before the lap begins. You want to short shift into second gear to avoid the wheels spinning on the exit so you can get a decent drive down this straight, because you want to be going as fast as you can when you cross the line. Now here at the first corner you want to brake quite a long time after the curb has appeared on the left hand side of the screen. At this point you would normally be told, oh, you've got to brake in a straight line, but no, in this instance you want to be braking while you turn down into third and second gear so that you hit this apex. There we go, there's the apex, absolutely perfect. At that point short shift again into third. The car will still fishtail a little bit, but that's okay. Now this second corner is a hairpin right and you've got to brake quite late into it, steer a lot later into it than you'd think. You can see the car is right over on the left hand side of the track at this moment. We want to get the car down into first gear to maximise the turning. There we go, hit the apex and then short shift again so that you get on the power nicely through this section. Okay, now these corners are flat out. The Gold Ghost actually goes through that second corner extremely quickly, so he's probably going to overtake you, but don't worry about that because this next right-hander, he's a little slower through. You can take it flat out or with a slight dip on the accelerator. And then this next corner, he's very slow through. So you just have to shift down to fourth, make sure you hit the apex on the right-hand side, having started on the far left, and you should fly through that corner like this. Perfect. Now, as I've come off of this curb on the left, I've got a lot left to do. I've got to get the car over to the right because even though this straight looks really long, it's actually a lot shorter than you'd think. So we're going to get the car over to the right hand side, we're in fourth gear. At that point we've got to start braking down into third, keep the car on the left through this first corner in the chicane, a lot longer than you'd think so that you can minimise the turning through the right hander on the exit. There we go. Car fishtails again just a little bit, but we've got lots of speed to carry through. As you can see at this point, we're quite a way ahead of the Gold Ghost, but he does a very strong second half of the lap, so we've still got a lot left to do. This hairpin is actually quite easy, as long as you find your braking point without many things to go by on the left, it must be said. Down from fifth gear into first. Again, get it into first so that you can get quite tight into that corner, and then short shift on the exit again so that you don't spin the wheels. Now this section is flat out through the left hander, keep the car over to the right then. Now as you go into this corner, you will have gone just up to sixth gear, but immediately you want to shift back down into fifth. Dab the brakes just a little bit as you come back down into fifth, get the car onto that inside curb on the left, and then drift out over to the right. If you are not drifting through that corner, you're not going fast enough, so take another lap, see if you can go another few miles an hour faster, because you want to be drifting out over to the right hand side on the exit. And now we're coming into my nemesis, this corner. It's so difficult. It's so much sharper than you first think it is. So we've got to get the car down into third gear. You could go into second to make sure you get around it, but third gear, if you hit the apex, is fine. I haven't hit the apex here, as you can see, which is a real shame, but I've got decent speed coming out of the corner. At this speed, you can actually hold the accelerator flat for the next right-hander, otherwise you might need a little dip. Now we're out onto the fastest part of the track because these are both flat out around the right hander, use the analog steering, and again through this little kink, that's flat out, ride the curb on the left if you need to. Under the bridge, you want to brake past the bridge and down into first gear again for the final corner. Keep it nice and neat, second gear short shift so that you can get on the accelerator and power across the line. And as it is, we've beaten the Gold Ghost. That's a time of 1:18.673, which is extremely fast. We're going to win ourselves a trophy for that. We feel really good, and that's the lap done. Be sure to check out our review of F1 2013 on GamesRadar.com. We gave it 4.5 stars. I think it's absolutely superb, and I highly recommend you get on this mode, try this car on this track, because it's brilliant.